Aloha mai kako, and welcome to another broadcast of Ukulele Songs of Hawaii. I'm your host, Walter Kawaiaea. We are here today with a very talented young man with a very well-founded musical heritage, Halehaku Seabury. Aloha mai.
Aloha.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule to be with us.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here.
Before you and I get into talking, I'd like to share with our audience some background, and I'll try to get through this quickly. It's quite impressive. Landon Halehaku Seabury is a Grammy-nominated and multi-Nahoku Hanohano Award-winning guitarist, multi-instrumentalist, composer, arranger, and vocalist from Kaneohe, Oahu. Halehaku developed an early passion for music from his parents while growing up in Kaneohe, Oahu. His formative musical education began assisting his father in the 1420 AM radio station studios as a young child, which is not too far from where we're at right now. Being exposed early on to musicians like Auntie Jano Keawe, Kele'i Joy, the Kahau Anu Lake Trio, Emperor Hanapi, Richard Kauhi, and the list goes on, really set a precedence of excellence in Hawaiian music. In middle school, Holly began formal study of music, studying the Hawaiian steel guitar under the tutelage of his uncle and steel guitar master, Alan Akaka. He continued to play steel guitar as his primary instrument throughout his high school, studying the styles of musicians such as Jules Asi, Jake Kele'ikoa, Barney Isaacs, and his great-grandfather, Joseph Stepi DiRego. The last year of high school brought an incredible shift in influences. Holly was introduced to jazz by way of the work of jazz guitarist Sean McLaughlin with the Mahavishnu Orchestra. As a result, he was introduced to artists like John Smith, Bill Evans, Dexter Gordon, Miles Davis, Egberto Gismonti, Bill Connors, and Chick Corea, to name a few. He soon realized that there was room for jazz and Hawaiian music. Holly research sought out and found that there were amazing jazz instrumentalists and resources in Hawaii for him to look up to and emulate, both Hawaiian and non-locals who had relocated here to Hawaii. In this, he found the works of Albert Ka'ailau, steel guitarist, electric guitar player rather, for the Kahau Anu Lake Trio's #1 and #2 albums, Hiram Olsen with the Lopaka Trio, Jerry Bird, Hiram's brother, Sterling Kahalepuna, with Al Lopaka, Kuki Among, and Harold Hakuole on the Makaha Records session as well. Befriending vocal arranging genius and Hawaiian jazz guitarist Uncle Francis Kuki Among, his nephew, arranger, musician, and jazz ukulele genius Benny Chong, and composer, arranger, educator Dr. Byron Yasui have helped to move Halehaku's compositional, theoretical, musical understanding to much higher levels. Building a dual-fold music career as a studio musician and as an independent artist, Halehaku's musical contributions can be found on albums by Kalani Kaunahele, Josh Tatofi, Keau Ho, Keau Costa, and Kekuhi Kanakaole, and others. As an artist with his group Nahoa, recording and preserving songs like Kolopa, Ilime'oe, and Pua Mai Ole. It has since been a goal of this young man to combine the elegance of Hawaiian music and the bold, daring improvisation of jazz into the beautiful musical form that can and will be appreciated by both Hawaiians and non-Hawaiian music fans alike. Wow. Welcome, Holly, to the show.
Aloha.
Aloha. That's pretty impressive.
Oh, mahalo.
And I'd like to have you maybe share with our viewers a little bit about those early formative years, as you mentioned, with your dad, and how that really shaped the direction of the future for your music life.
Sure. So it was actually at, I want to say, the ages of 5 and 6. Throughout there was when we begun. And my dad is Hau'ole Akaka. He's a disc jockey at the time. He did Kaleo Hawaii, the second Kaleo Hawaii after Larry Kimura.
Okay, all right.
Right. That was with Lolena Nicholas and Puakea.
Okay, I was there working at KCC and in sales when they started that Kaleo Hawaii, the first one. Yep.
So he was there, and he would do evenings and weekends. and they did, well, Mele Hawaii.
I.
So at that time, and I'm giving away my age, all of the songs were on individual carts, 8-track carts. So there were walls and walls of these separate 8-track. And he would jot down a list of numbers, because they're all numbered and color-coded, because you ran out of numbers at some point. I just put it on a different color. Anyhow, so he would make a list for me, and I had to go retrieve all of these cards. And that was the actual playlist that got played on the radio.
I see.
So I would retrieve his list and kind of walk through and, oh, that's me.
Or then pull out the record.
I'd make my own list, because there's a production studio next to the live studio.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I was in the production studio, just, with a set of headphones, listening and learning, absorbing. And there's a little, like a window this big in between the two studios.
Yes, I remember that.
As his playlist got short, he would knock on the window, singing in,
Not paying attention.
Not paying attention. He's pounding on hey, my list. So then we do it again. Make his list, make my list, and you just, as a young kid, you keep absorbing.
So let me ask you, so were they still using vinyl? Or they had
Yeah, there's
they're still
vinyl.
using vinyl?
They had, I want to say there were 4 racks of vinyl under the mixer.
Okay.
Like the fast draw.
Yes.
And then there were 8 tracks on the walls outside.
Wow. So when you heard the music of, let me start with Auntie Janelle, for example.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, what were your initial reaction when you heard that kind of music?
It's like it starts in your heart. And you, wow. And it's so difficult to describe as a feeling, because I know
Sure.
a feeling.
Yeah.
But you're like, oh, this is the best way. That's where I'm from.
Okay.
This sound is where I'm from.
And where are you from?
Well, I'm from Kaneohe, but this is the sound of my home.
Okay, I get you.
That kind of Mele Hawaii. And then, like, you listen to Keolau Kalani, and you hear Al Ka'ailau in the front, and you go, but that's also where I'm from.
Yeah. I think I know what you're saying. When you hear music like, whether it's the Lake Trio or Genoa or all of those artists, Uncle K used to say that all the time. Hawaiian music is so identifiable to Hawaii that you could be any place on the planet. As soon as you hear that kind of music, you know that we're talking about Hawaii.
Yeah.
So I think that's what you mean.
Yes.
We're home.
Yeah, we're home.
And so the music was good, but you're only 5 years old. I mean, that's quite unusual.
Yeah. Well, I'm unusual. I mean,
he is.
There's that.
Yes, Landon is an unusual guy. I had to go there.
Yeah.
So let's, I know we have lots of music that we'd like to share that, describes you, but I think we have a journey to take that describes your career. And so maybe we can have some pictures to look at, and, we can talk about that.
Sure.
If you don't mind. So, there's, okay. Wow, that's real serious.
So,
I never seen you as a serious
such
dude.
A serious.
And that is so not Hawaiian looking.
It is very not Hawaiian. This particular photo it's for the guitar builder. That guitar is built specifically for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he's a luthier from Okinawa. And he kind of got in touch with me, and he says, oh, I've been following your music, and I build instruments. I'd love to build you a guitar.
Oh.
So that's the guitar.
So let's stay with that photo, because in your bio it says your first instrument, and all through I think it was high school, was a steel guitar.
Yes.
And so you went from steel guitar to guitar?
I did.
What caused the change?
It's hard to find rhythm players.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. You know my background and association with Uncle K, the Kaha Lake Trio. So tell me, because the first time I met you, we were in Kumu Pohai Souza's halau.
Yeah.
We were preparing for a show. I think it was the Prince Salat Hula Festival. And when I heard you play those riffs at Al Ka'ailau, so give me your thoughts. I mean, he's mentioned in your bio, but what attracted you to that?
there's this might get a little philosophical in the way we approach ourselves as Hawaiians. Like, we forget sometimes, and we're realizing now. I'm seeing it again. That as Hawaiians, we're capable of pretty impressive things. And hearing those, those solos and the chords and the motion, and it was it pulled me, and I had to be a part of it. I had to be a part of it, and I had to know. And I felt like he was one of the Hawaiians I feel like music is my lane in life. He was one of the Hawaiians who figured out how to get around in my lane of life.
It's interesting because growing up with Uncle K and being taught by him, when you look at that generation, when they were growing up, as kids, the musical influence from Western society was jazz music.
Yeah.
Whereas my generation grew up with rock and roll. So you can hear it in my generation's brand of music, and the contemporary Hawaiian music had all that rock and roll influence. But when you listen to that generation like Al Ka'ailau, I mean, jazz was second nature to these guys. Even Kahau Wando Lake's playing was that way.
Yeah.
That's probably what drove him to get Al Ka'ailau to play with him on those first two albums. Incredible. So that was another influence that helped you to pattern and stay solidified with that guitar playing. Okay. But then, because of that, you realized, and so your scope broadened, and you started to embrace other forms of music outside of traditional Hawaiian, primarily, and that's a good thing, because it's just going to make the Hawaiian better, as Uncle would say, right? And so maybe we can have the next picture put up there. Okay. Kind of off the subject, but did you win? Is that Olympic gold?
No.
Oh, that
is the Grammy nominees pendant. And it was it's just an interesting photo. I like all of the colors and textures.
Yes, I can see that.
Yeah.
And there's no green in there, so
there's
it's
no
perfect.
Green. It absolutely works.
Rob will like that.
Yeah.
So, I see. Okay, that's not a Nahoku Hanohano Award pendant, but that is a Grammy pendant for your. Well, congratulations to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's a new experience, and it's fun to have a broader scope of attention for Hawaiian music in that way, regardless of who it is. But if it's me, thanks.
yes. I hear you. Okay, maybe we can have our next picture up on the screen. Oh, yeah. Okay, we're going to stick here for a little while.
Yes.
Tell us. I mean, I know a few people. I mean, the obvious one is the ukulele player.
Right.
The great Hawaiian voice of Mr. Alfred Opaka. Well, can you introduce our viewers to the rest? And I believe there's a family member there for you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, let's start with the rest and get to family.
Okay.
On the upright bass is Jimmy Ko'opuiki.
Okay.
Jim Ko'opuiki,
yes.
Who is famous for Hawaii Call Show with Ben Kalama and Sonny Kamahele. And
wasn't he part of the Benny Kalama trio, the group that I don't want to say backup, but played for Alfred Opaka at the Tapa Room at the Hilton?
Yes. And then another Papakolea guy, this guy, is Jacob Keli'ikoa.
Nice.
And he, if I can get steel guitar geeky for a little while, he was able to pull off a lot of big band brass sounds, or like comping in that way on a 6-string steel guitar.
Wow, that's amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And creative a soloist as you could find.
Wow. Well, we're gonna take a break, and our time is going by quickly. And when we come back, we'll talk about that last remaining musician in that photo. I'm Walter Kawaiaea, your host for Ukulele Songs of Hawaii, and joining me today is our musician extraordinaire, Halehaku Seabury. We'll be right back.
Aloha, I'm your host, Sharon Thomas Yarbrough of Sister Power here at ThinkTech Hawaii. And Sister Power is all about motivating, empowering, educating, and inspiring all people. And we have various subjects here. Sister Power is here at ThinkTech every other Thursday at 4 p.m. Again, my name is Sharon Thomas Yarbrough, host of Sister Power. We look forward to seeing you. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at sistersempoweringhawaii@gmail.com. Look forward to chatting with you soon. Aloha.
Aloha! My name is Becky Sampson, and I'm the host of It's About Time on the ThinkTech Hawaii, a digital nonprofit organization that's raising public awareness. Join us on Wednesday at 2 p.m. where we talk about real issues. Some of the topics will include entrepreneurship, health, life skills, and growing your business. So once again, this is Becky Sampson on It's About Time on Wednesday at 2 p.m. on ThinkTech Hawaii. Mahalo.
Aloha mai kako. I'm Walter Kawaiaea, your host for Ukulele Songs of Hawaii. And we're talking with our very special guest, musician extraordinaire, Halehaku Seabury. So if we can have that photo just before we took a break of that group back, this probably was back in the 50s, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I'm going to say this is 55 or
55,
56.
that would sound about right. Okay. Now, we went through, of course, Alfred Apaka on the ukulele, Jimmy Kaupuiki on the upright bass, and Jake Kiliko on the steel. But who is that handsome-looking bugger on that electric guitar?
Yes. This is my great-grandfather. His name is Joseph DiRego, but everybody called him Steppy. And he's basically where I come from.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's no happenstance that your musical journey, in the end, takes you to the instrument that your great-grandpa was playing and well known for back in the day. That's fantastic. Thanks for sharing that with us. And can we have our next picture? Oh, yeah. So we're going to move away from the traditional Hawaiian music for a second, and this will give you an insight as to this talented musician, Halehaku, expanding his musical horizons. And maybe you can tell us a little about who this we're looking at.
So this is myself and jazz guitarist John McLaughlin, who was a disciple of Miles Davis, and particularly of that school, of the East Coast school. And I was handed an album of his when I was actually listening to blues records, like old 50s blues records.
Yes, yes.
Like you kind of migrate through decades, but I try to spread out throughout genres in a decade. So like I'm listening to 50s Hawaiian music, and I'm listening to blues, and I'm listening to jazz, and like
in the same era.
Yeah, in the same era, there are commonalities. And I was handed one of John's albums, and in the course of the blues thing, I was like, oh, and it was just his facility and his ability to be comfortable in what seems like rigorous musical situations.
I hear you.
And I admire that. Like the more situations you're comfortable in,
yes,
the better you are for it.
That's true. I mean, you really have to know your music, your instrument well to do what you just described.
Yeah.
When you're live on stage or, whatever the case might be. That's fantastic. So do we have another photo? I believe we do. Yeah, okay. So tell us about all these people. I know they're important people in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. These are friends and mentors, and it's fantastic that I've actually listened to albums by these people in the radio station as a child of 5 and 6 and 7.
Oh my goodness, that makes
and
me feel
later
really
become friends
older.
with a lot of these people. If I can start in the red shirt. This is Brian Tolentino, who is a good friend and a band member, and we play duos together. Fantastic musician, ukulele player. Next is Sonny Lim of Kohala. And fantastic musician. I call him the smooth operator because regardless of the situation, he has the right response. and everything's perfect.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. And this photo we took at the next guy's birthday, 75th birthday. That is Benjamin Chong, Benny Chong.
Yes, Benny Chong.
Of Don Ho and the Ali'is. And so we're there celebrating his birthday. Next is Dr. Byron Yasui, who is a friend and a mentor and a good guy to be around.
He would be a ukulele extraordinaire, yeah?
He's also the two of them.
The two of them,
just
yes. Both of those guys.
Ukulele everywhere. And musicality.
And
And
St. Louis graduate, huh?
St. Louis graduate. 50, we're not going to name the
Yeah, we're
number.
not going to name the number. No.
Yes.
He looks good.
Yeah. The next is Jeff Peterson
Right.
from Maui. Fantastic
Yes.
musician.
His
Classical
instrument
guitar?
is a guitar, right?
Yeah, guitar.
Classical.
Yeah, classical
Yep.
guitar. But if you give him any kind of guitar, he's got it covered.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this guy.
Yeah. Wow. And wow.
Yeah, look at the shirt.
Yeah, he's wearing the same shirt. How well planned can we be? Okay, we got another photo up there,
Yeah.
perhaps. Yeah, there you go. Live. Okay, that looks like some serious stuff going on.
Yeah, so that's just tracking and doing studio
Tracking,
work.
yeah.
And
So my guess is you're laying down ukulele tracks. You've got those things around your head, and somebody's
Yeah.
singing something, and you're laying down the tracks. Huh?
yep.
Nice. Yeah. You're very focused.
Hey, you have to be.
You have to be. Okay. So on to the next one. Okay. Introduce us to these buddies of yours.
Yes, this is my guys, my group, my band. We're a group called Nahoa, which interestingly started as a temporary name.
Oh.
We're like, we're friends. Let's just
friends,
be
huh?
Nahoa for now.
Oh.
17 years ago.
Okay.
So that's myself with the guitar.
Uh-huh.
On ukulele is Ikaika Blackburn from Maui. And with the upright bass is Keone Souza.
Super talented. I mean, I've heard all of you perform together and separately, and we'd had opportunity to work with both you and Keone Souza for that Prince Lot Hula Festival.
Yeah.
That was great.
That's
that was
fantastic.
great. We got another photo there, Rob. Oh my gosh. Look at those lays. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know who that is, yeah? That
Yeah.
old guy with the white hair in the middle. And I think this was the first Nahoku Pohaku concert, which we just had the second about two weekends ago. All right. Very broad background, both in traditional Hawaiian and as you've marched us through the decades and how I think that's really intelligent of you to go by decade and gather, the brands of music, the jazz, Hawaiian, within, and go by decade to see how they work together.
Yeah.
And obviously, it served you well. We have some songs. We're going to start with this first number, and hopefully our audience will recognize. So when you listen to this, I believe the first song is
Eleu Miki Miki.
Eleo Miki Miki, right. And this is by the group Keaho.
Yes.
But mainly it's to, this is the studio musician part of Halehaku, where he obviously was asked to play for their recording. So you're going to hear just a snippet of that song with his introduction, and you'll definitely hear his guitar playing. Oh, that was great. So that, again, the group Keaho, the song Eleo Miki Miki, and I hope the viewers caught that introduction of yours. And so, yeah, I mean, I heard I heard, tidbits of El Kailau and his jazz riffs in there. That was excellent. We got another song to play. I'm not sure. I think this is by Kainani
Yes.
Kaunahele. And I'm not sure what the song is, but...
Hush My Lilia.
Okay. Okay. Is this more of a contemporary?
It's actually a Kikui Kanakaole composition.
Okay.
But you can hear the 50s blues and jazz influence as we were talking through, you know.
Well, we can have our viewers take a listen to that.
Lama lama vailana mali tu vahi pua o kalilia molale ke aloha I ka ehume.
Well, that was good. We were just talking off while the song was playing about how Kainani's voice just is real beautiful, and so whatever mood you are in, when you hear her voice, everything, all the problems in life just kind of vanish away. You feel good about yourself. You feel good about the guy that just cut in front of you as you were driving. So we need more of that kind of music. Well, tell me a little bit about that song. So off air, you're telling us it's a composition by...
Oh yeah, it's a composition by Kikohi Kanakaole of Hawaii, Hawaii Island. And it's an album she recorded in the 90s, and it was actually her idea to have certain artists reimagine those songs.
Oh, I see.
And so with her blessing, we kind of went this way with it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. We got one more song, and our time is getting close to closing, so we'll ask Rob if he could put that one last song up for us. That was beautiful. What you were hearing for our viewers was Halehaku. That was him singing, by the way. So he not only plays guitar and other instruments. In fact, on that one, he was playing both ukulele and guitar. Not at the same time. He's good, but not that good.
Not that good.
and also singing. And we're definitely out of time. But I just want to acknowledge Halehaku again as musician extraordinaire. Thank you for taking the time to be on our show. For our viewers out there, there's an upcoming compilation album that is being done by a lot of Nahoku award-winning musicians that will be shortly coming out. And what is the title of that going to be? Do we know yet?
No.
No, but it's for the Mauna.
It's for the Mauna,
it's for the Mauna.
Everybody's aloha is given in this album.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Walter Kawaiaea, for Ukulele Songs of Hawaii. Until next time, behave yourselves. We'll see you again. Aloha.